First, I want to thank everybody that has subscribed, liked, commented. I appreciate everything that you've said. No matter what you've said, I appreciate the likes. Please share this with your friends. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you hit that share button. We're trying to make sure that everybody know that they're not victims, that they're empowered for greatness, that we can make a difference again in this nation. That we can stand up for biblical values, we can stand up for truth and push back against all the lies and everything that's false that's taking place in this land. So I appreciate that. And please, thank you for looking at my videos and participating and making our voice known. There are so many perspectives that have been given on the Will Smith slap of Chris Rock. We've heard from the Hollywood crowd, we've heard from black women, we've heard from some black men, but I have yet to hear a response from a biblical black man. And that's what I will give you on this video. I will give you a biblical response to all this uproar regarding Will Smith, the slap, Jada Pinkett Smith, the reaction, the role of men, the role of women, the role of husbands, the role of wives. Now, I've made previous videos just describing different aspects of the incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock, but this one will summarize and encapsulate all my thoughts about this incident. And so what I want to do first is play for you a portion of an interview that was on CNN with Kerry Champion and Jamel Hill and Jake Tapper. Now keep in mind, there was not a black man on the set to give his perspective. It was a beta male, Jake Tapper, and two black women. You have to understand the image that is being projected. They are projecting that what Will Smith did, the demonstration of masculinity that he showed, even though it was misplaced masculinity, and masculinity is not equated with violence. So let me set that straight. Masculinity is not equated with violence. Biblical masculinity. Biblical masculinity is based upon the life of Jesus and upon the word of God. It's based on the fruit of the spirit, self-control. It's based on watching over your mouth. It's based upon knowing how to control your emotions. It's based upon being led by your spirit man. It's based upon being in charge of your body and what you do and what you say. That's biblical masculinity. So they did not have anybody on this set speaking from a biblical masculinity perspective, especially a black biblical masculinity perspective. So take a listen to what they had to say, and I'll comment after that.
You're right, there was a lot of trauma there. And for him to look over at his wife, I'm not a man, but for a man to look over at his wife and see her pain and be at their breaking point, because let's look at his long career. Will, for better or for worse, has not done anything incorrect in his career. No, very few missteps, right, when it comes to Will Smith.
Not that we know of, yeah.
Not that we know of.
Right.
So when you see someone who has been the butt of jokes for a very long time, because of, even when he was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, born and raised in Philly, like his raps were always considered, when he was a rapper, he was considered one of the good guys, if you will. And therefore, sometimes when you're considered the good guy, they make fun of you. And I think what we saw last night, and I'm not even joking, is a man who was at his breaking point for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, and Pinkett Smith.
Not only that, Jake, you have to actually understand this on an even deeper level than that. For black women, we just watched confirmation hearings with Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? We just saw everything that she went through, saw how she was, really lambasted in the public eye. Yep. And we saw all the things that she had to deal with. And she was, she was often lauded for keeping cool and collected. Sometimes when things happen, people don't feel that way. And I think for black women in particular, because I saw what Tiffany Haddish said as well, where she said that she felt very encouraged, if you will, by the fact that Will Smith in this very public setting was standing up for his black wife.
Right.
And that's a protection that black women often aren't afforded.
So you see here, Jemele Hill and Carrie Champion talking about how Will, in his autobiography, I guess he talked about how he felt guilty for not standing up for his mom. So he felt that he did not stand up for the black woman. And then you have Jemele Hill talking about how Tiffany Haddish applauded Will for smacking Chris Rock for standing up for his wife because she's felt unprotected at times. And so they're giving this dichotomy of, on the one hand, celebrating Will Smith for standing up for his black woman, but at the same time, they don't know that they are emasculating him. And that's the point. What has happened to the black man in America is atrocious. It's criminal. It is very, very atrocious and criminal. The black man in particular has been on the front lines of this cultural war. It started way back in the 40s and the 50s with the New Deal, and then carried forward with the Great Society, when the black woman was elevated, when the roles were inverted, if you will, when instead of it being God, man, wife, children, the roles were reversed, not just reversed, but destroyed, altered, tampered with. So God was removed. Oh, better yet, I'm gonna put it like this. God wasn't removed. He was replaced with a false God. A false god of race, a false god of religion. So he was placed there, right? But then it was the woman. And then after the woman, it's the child. And then the man, especially the black man, comes down here in fourth place. So keep in mind what we have. We have a fake god, religion, churchy, black church, the black woman, who pretty much runs a lot of these quote unquote black churches. You have the children who are being raised in single parent households, being raised by men who are weak, being raised by women who subconsciously are telling their boys it's okay to be a girl, it's okay to be emasculated, and telling their girls it's okay to be strong. It has been inverted, it has been reversed. So now boys are growing up thinking it's not cool to be a man. That being a man means you have to be feminine. Being a man means you have to give in to your emotions, to your impulses. What Will Smith did was a feminine act. That was a feminine act. He reacted the same way a lot of women reacted when they're insulted about somebody talking about their hair. That's how Will Smith reacted. He did. He reacted in a feminine way. So you have to understand something. Look, I was raised in a single parent household. My mom raised me after my dad left. And it was because of strong men in my community that gave me an image of what true masculinity was. Now, they didn't always give me a biblical picture of what masculinity was, but they gave me enough of a picture so that when I found what true biblical masculinity was here in the Word of God, I had something to go on. But when you don't have a man in the house, and when you don't surround them with men who show true biblical masculinity, boys are lost. And then when the culture is telling them that masculinity is wrong, when the culture is telling them embrace your femininity, it's okay to be a girl, to think you're a girl, this constant barrage of images and messages and innuendos, all these things are attacking their manhood. And so what happens? They react in two ways. They suppress it or they express it. And they express it, especially in the black community, by the disrespect and the killing of other black men. Because the other black men are in the same situation that they are. Some either suppress it or some express it by the shooting and killing of each other. So the simple fact that they had Carrie Champion and Jemele Hill on CNN talking about an incident with a man. Two men. They had Carrie Champion, Jemele Hill on the set talking about the incident between two men. And instead of having two men on the set, two black men on the set, they have two black women. That shows you exactly the hierarchy in the eyes of the liberal media, feminism, LGBTQ, and Black Lives Matter. That shows you exactly where they think the black man exists in the hierarchy. That shows you exactly where the black man exists. We have too many Ahabs in this land and not enough Jehus. If you don't know about the story of Ahab, Ahab was a king of Israel, and he was a very, very wicked king. Now, he was wicked before he even met his wife, but his wife took him to the next level in his wickedness because he married somebody outside of the kingdom of Israel. He married a heathen, if you will, and she caused him to worship other gods and caused him to get so wicked that they committed murder and did all kind of things. But Jehu came along and destroyed all those things that Ahab had erected, and he killed Jezebel. I'm not advocating for the murder of anybody. I'm advocating for the destruction of that Jezebel spirit, especially in the black community that has taken hold, and the matriarchy has to be pulled down. It has to, and replaced with biblical roles, the way God originally designed for the family to exist. Because we have done things out of order. The black woman is out of order. The black man is out of order. And for Tiffany Haddish to say that she has been unprotected, I agree with her. Because the black man is out of order. The black woman is out of order. The whole black family is out of order. They are out of order. Out of God's order. And when there's disorder, there's chaos. And when there's chaos, there is unprotection. And when there's unprotection, then there's violation that occurs. And it saddens me to say that. Children are being violated. Women are being violated. We're supposed to protect women. We're supposed to cover women with prayers and with our presence. We're supposed to cover women. We're supposed to cover them. They're not supposed to receive the arrows and the attacks of the world. So in that sense, I see what Will Smith was doing. He was standing up for his wife. He was. He was trying to shield her from the verbal assault that was coming her way. Now, there's some other things that he could have shielded her from that she actually opened herself up to, but that's neither here or there. That's for another topic for another day. But the simple fact I want to go back to, it was two black men that were having this interaction. Regardless of if Will Smith was standing up for his wife or not, it was two black men. So why not have, number one, black men talk about it on CNN, and number two, have a biblical black conservative perspective on it? Because for a biblical black conservative, number one, they understand that the institution of the family was ordained by God and understand how the roles should be set up in the eyes of God, with God, the true God, not a fake God, not a religious God, but a relationship with God through his son, Jesus Christ, number one. And number two, that's what that man submits himself unto God. And when he submits himself unto God, then the woman comes in, the woman can respect his headship, his leadership, because this man is submitted unto God. And then the children will submit to the mother and to the father. That is God's ideal structure for the family. But that has been eroded, that has been subverted. And therefore, we are creating a generation of victims. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. This is the black, biblical, conservative man view on this whole situation. This Will Smith situation is just another example of the erosion of the black family, of the erection of the matriarchy in the black community, and the detriment that it has for young boys and for the community as a whole. We must get it right. We must return it to the way that God had originally designed it for the community to thrive. It doesn't matter how many policies, how many things you put in place, all these people screaming about racism. No, you correct the family, all these other things will take care of themselves. Because during the height of Jim Crow, during the height of true racism, black families were intact and the black communities were thriving. That is the truth. We are not victims. We are not victims. We are empowered for greatness. Thank you so much for liking your comments and subscribing to the channel. Please share this with your friends. smash that like button, smash the subscription bell, share this with everybody you know. We're trying to make sure people understand that they're not victims, that they are empowered for greatness, and all this stuff that's out here that's telling them otherwise is false and will not benefit them in the end. So please, I appreciate that. Share that.